So, we're back. I asked you guys what you wanted me to finish first, and Akira won. Sadly for me, but luckily for you guys. This means I won't be able to do this weekly, since these reviews will take a lot of time. More than the average Promised Neverland and Mob Psycho reviews. So, will Volume 2 live up to the content of Volume 1? We will see. Let us begin. The arc starts off with the three confirmed psychic users, Takashi, Kyoko, and Masura, talking about Tetsu as he's boarding Colonel's ship. Yes, I've learned his name is Colonel now. Tetsuo notes to Colonel that he feels like somebody's talking about him, while we see Kaneda and Kei being arrested. Then we cut to Ryu spying on the landing place that is most likely the Colonel's, and afterwards talking to Nezu about what he saw. After they are done with their conversation, Nezu's chauffeur says that Lady Miyako wants to talk to him. This startles him. He meets up with her, and turns out she's a psychic person too. She's number 19. She tells Nezu about a dream she had about a massive destruction, which will do so much damage to the world, and it will make Akira only look like a pond, which sounds really scary. Then we cut to Tetsuo being scanned at Colonel's lab for any injuries, which there are none. But then the Colonel asks for any attitude, and this surprises the doctor. But he explains that he wants to prevent the second Akira from happening. This gets Tetsuo to question what he means by that. We then cut to Kei and Kaneda imprisoned at Colonel's building, where Kaneda is slamming himself at the door, yelling to be let out. However, nobody can hear them, and the two guards come and picks up Kei and tells her to come in for questioning. One of the guards are trying to flirt with her, but the other tells him off multiple times to just stop. They're about to enter an elevator to floor E, but then Kei notices that the security cameras break, and she uses the opportunity to kick one of them out of the elevator as the doors are closing, and knock out the other guy and steal his gun and uncuff herself. The alarms go off, which alerts the Colonel and the other psychic users. A group of guards chase her, and she makes it to a dead end. But when one of the guards come and reach where she went, he makes it to a dead end, but with no sign of her. They report her disappearance to the Colonel, which makes him mad, and he calls them idiots while they're apologizing. Kei is currently in the dark room wondering where she is. Then we see Colonel getting a report that they can't find Kei at all. But then he cancels the current search since he realizes something. Then we cut to Tetsuo sleeping with a book on his face as Kei is entering the place. Tetsuo knows she's an ally to Kaneda and asks what she wants before she shoots Tetsuo's shoulder. This annoys him and he uses his power to try to scare her, but she doesn't flinch. Kei runs out a bit later, with Tetsuo following her, and as she makes it to a dead end, Tetsuo taunts her, but then she vanishes through the walls and teleports, as seen when Tetsuo breaks the wall. Turns out Kei is also a psychic person. Wow, the twists and turns. We see the two guards take Kaneda with him, as he really needs to piss. And as the guards and Kaneda are arguing about it, we see a bunch of guards defeated or running away from Kei. This gets the two guards who are currently with Kaneda to run away, and Kaneda falls on his back. He gets back up and tries to talk to Kei and even flirt with her, but then she teleports both of them to a new place. Colonel gets the report that Tetsuo has been healed pretty fast, and while the doctor's talking with Tetsuo, he says that she has some similar powers to him, referring to Kei, since there was no way she could normally teleport. The doctor explains that others might be able to have psychic powers too, and right before Colonel enters the room, Tetsuo blurts out that they are kids, and this surprises the doctor since Tetsuo was able to read his mind. Tetsuo also says he wants to meet Akira, which surprises the doctor. Tetsuo still asks to see Akira, but the doctor tells him that he's asleep underground. Getting back to Kaneda, turns out he was teleported by Kei to an armory, which confuses him. Kei picks up a gun and Kaneda tries to talk to her. Meanwhile, the Colonel enters the room where the psychic kids are and realizes that the three of them are controlling Kei, which is why she can use psychic powers. They explain to the Colonel that their reasons for controlling her is to kill Tetsuo, which Kei also says out while she's being possessed. This surprises Kaneda as well since Tetsuo is in the same building. They want to kill Tetsuo since he has some kind of connection to Akira destroying the world, which isn't explained yet. Anyways, the kids stop possessing Kei, which confuses her on where she is right now. Colonel gets fed up and decides to leave, and as he is leaving the room, he meets Tetsuo, who barges into the room and the doctor is trying to stop him. Tetsuo enters and decides to shit-talk the three psychic kids before he realizes Takashi from the time he crashed his bike. He wants to beat up all three of them, so he starts to attack them before Colonel tries to stop him, which doesn't work, and he gets pressed down by gravity thanks to Tetsuo. Meanwhile, Kei tries to learn what happened and accuses Kaneda of touching her, which she didn't know, and calls him a pervert. They run into an elevator and enter it. Kyoko falls asleep and activates her powers, and as Tetsuo is about to attack her, Takashi and Masura uses their powers to try and protect Kyoko, which Tetsuo pities. Colonel tells Tetsuo to stop. Tetsuo asks where Akira is, and the doctor is about to tell him, but Colonel tries to stop him. But Tetsuo prevents him from stopping him, and just as Tetsuo gets told where Akira is, Kaneda jumps down from a window and starts to shoot Tetsuo with a laser gun that they got from the armory. After he stops, they notice how quiet it has gotten, and what they don't know yet is that Tetsuo has escaped by jumping off the building during the commotion of Kaneda firing the gun. Colonel wakes up after being knocked out, only to see Kaneda, and he wants to recapture him. But Kaneda basically tells him to shove it, and they're about to look for Tetsuo. But Kyoko tells them that he has already left to look for Akira. Kei asks Kyoko what Akira even is, and she tells Kei that Akira is number 28 and basically one of them. This gets the Colonel's attention, since he has just learned that the doctor told Tetsuo where Akira is, and he gets angry at the doctor. Kaneda and Kei decides to try to hunt for Tetsuo before being stopped by guards who recognizes that they're in a prison uniform, and just before he can do anything, Kaneda shoots the guy. They're about to enter an elevator, but it's filled with guards, and they give chase and barely avoid the bullets that the guards shoot at them. They run down a bunch of stairs, and they're confused on which floor they are. A mysterious figure tells them that they're on the 8th floor. Kaneda is about to shoot him, but he reveals that he's on their side, the resistance side. He reveals that he is the best friend of the guy who got Takashi out of there and offers to help them get out of there. They're suspicious of the guy but accepts, and with their help they escape. At their hideout, the scientist and Kaneda are chilling while Kaneda is eating. The scientist asks where Kei is. Meanwhile, Kei is visiting her aunt and talking about not trusting him, since it was Ryu's idea to free Takashi. Kei decides to have an eye on him, but to have some trust in him for now. Kei returns to the hideout and tells the two that they have to get going. Meanwhile, Ryu and the other members of the resistance are at their job, talking about their next chance of getting out of there as they're eating at the job cafeteria. We cut to the guards meeting some new guards who were appointed to the new location, which is near where Ryu has his job, and they get told that they were transferred there to protect the area since it's a code 3 security threat right now. And as they're talking about what's going on, a kid who we know as Tetsuo comes, and Tetsuo starts to body everybody there. Colonel lands a bit afterwards with the doctor, who told Tetsuo about the location behind him. Tetsuo goes to the big elevator and takes it down, while Ryu and his other follower is a bit behind him, and they make it there and decide to climb down the big elevator. Meanwhile, Kaneda's group enter the place underground and eventually makes it to upwards, and during the same time the Colonel sends some of his men down with hover bikes to find and attack Tetsuo, but fails at this badly. Eventually, Tetsuo goes crazy with his powers and causes a massive explosion which makes him faint. And while his powers are going haywire, the doctor says that his and Akira's powers are resonating. They think that the two have some kind of connection, even though Akira is in some kind of chronic sleep. Ryu sees Tetsuo's unconscious body and asks if he's fine. At the same time, Kaneda's group see a hoverbike come, and Kei along with the scientist wants to hide, but Kaneda has a different plan. He acts like he has fainted, which makes the driver stop, and as he checks on Kaneda, he yells now, and Kei knocks the driver out. They hop on the hoverbike but can't find the brakes, and this causes them to drive downwards where the elevator is, and is spotted by Ryu. Tetsuo also wakes up while Kaneda's group is passing by, and he wonders why Kaneda is there. And after that, Colonel makes it down there where Tetsuo and Ryu are, and his men are shooting at Tetsuo, but the Colonel tells them to stop as to not make Tetsuo mad. Meanwhile, Kaneda and Kei makes it to the freezing room, and while Kaneda wants to take a piss, this, Kei spots a map that explains where number 28 is, aka Akira is. And as they're wondering what Akira is, Tetsuo enters the room, which makes the two of them shut up and hide under the desk. At the same time, the scientists meet up with Ryu, and he punches the two of them, confirming that the scientist and Ryu aren't on the greatest of terms. The colonel passed through the three of them with his men, and Ryu wants to follow them to find Kei, and his friend tells him to do so and he'll keep the scientist busy. Tetsuo goes to presumably where Akira is, but he's stopped by the colonel who tries to reason with him, and he tells him that this is a horrible idea. Tetsuo ignores him and is about to open a door. However, his men tries to shoot him with a laser to stop Tetsuo, but this causes the capsule to explode and releasing Akira. Tetsuo asks if he's really talking to Akira, but he doesn't reply. Kaneda and Kei are hiding in a vent, while the colonel and some of the scientists are inside the commander room. And one of the scientists decides to freeze the outside place. The colonel tries to stop him from doing this, but it's too late. This causes the doctor who told Tetsuo about Akira's location, who was still outside, to freeze to death. The colonel calls for code 7 emergency, and we see Ryu being able to escape with some guards as code 7 is being called. This causes mass panic in the city, and the lab opens an escape hatch, which was going to be used for the colonel and the others to escape. Kaneda and Kei go through the ventilation system, and just before they get out of there, Tetsuo and Akira escape through the escape hatch. But this was a part of Colonel's plan, since he sent out an airstrike, missing Tetsuo the first time. The escape hatch is about to close, but Kaneda and Kei manage to escape in time and have an affectionate moment about making it in time before they continue, and Kei finding an unconscious Akira after the first airstrike. However, the colonel orders the second airstrike, which takes Tetsuo's arm off. The volume ends with Tetsuo screaming in pain. Overall, still a pain to read and write. I have found a new system of how I'm gonna do this from now on, so volume 3 to 6 might be a bit more quicker. And hopefully I'll be able to finish this by the end of May or even the beginning of June. So yeah, about volume 2, I did really like it. It was great to see a lot more action, and finally getting to see who Akira really is was great, and I can't wait to see how the story will continue from here. Next time, we will be tackling volume 3, but until then, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys, well, next time. Bye bye.